Let's watch a sitcom or something. Get distracted.
They're calling it the airborne toxic event.
It won't come this way.
Will we have to leave our home?
Of course not.
How do you know?
I just know.
Okay, what if it's dangerous?
Evacuate all places of residence.
We have a situation. All we have to do is stay out of the way.
They're passing us, Dad.
Technically, that's illegal.
Do sheep have lashes?
Ask your father.
We're going sideways.
Dad, do sheep have lashes?
Doesn't anyone want to outthink the problem?
As long as the children are here, they need us.
Anyways, there you have the trailer. Very interesting. Very interesting. So if you're interested, look into this fucking movie, White Noise. Like, what the fuck is happening? Makes no sense, but it is what it is. All right, so for all the people that got jabbed and trust the CDC, let's pull up some CDC guidelines on vinyl chloride. Health effects, routes of exposure, patient information, prehistorical management. So, should I move this here? So this is from the CDC website for everybody that cares and considers them a reputable organization. There you go. That's your information. Okay, so you have no political affiliation or no sort of science indoctrination that keeps you away from understanding what the fuck is actually taking place. So once you start realizing that they try to divide you through politics and identity issues and things of this nature so that they can perpetrate all this garbage, that's when you got to be extremely careful. So the CDC is basically telling you, don't inhale this shit. If this shit touches your eyes and your skin, it's not really, really good. And it can fuck up your eyes, ingestion. Okay, so acute toxicity is unlikely, is what it's saying, in small amounts. So, interesting. What else do we have here? All right, Norfolk Southern Corporation manages 19,420 route miles. So this is the company that I was telling you guys about that is most likely owned or mostly owned by BlackRock and Vanguard. This is their entire area that they manage, right? So these guys aren't only out here managing $2.2 billion in payroll, right? And have 27,000 employees, but they're zipping through the entire country. Look at the entire country. They're zipping through states. They're zipping through neighborhoods, through residential areas, through schools, with all these chemical wastes and all these chemical hazards. What the fuck is going on? Who is allowing this? Who is allowing vinyl chloride to just freely move all around the country with no sort of supervision? Clearly there was no supervision. What the fuck is going on? You just burned the shit and it's just, everything's gone, everything's okay. That's not how reality works. That's not how reality works. Okay, so here we have this guy talking a little bit about it again. Talking about the other stuff that blew up in the carts, which was other chemicals. Interesting. Do your own research, look into it. Hazmat specialist is concerned authorities aren't testing exactly for what we talked about, phosgene, and all these other chemicals that are known to be extremely dangerous, right? So we talked about phosgene being used in World War I. So you have this guy that's a hazmat specialist. So this guy's an expert. Let's see what he's saying.
Authorities say it's safe for residents there to return to their homes. What are your concerns?
Well, my concerns are for chemicals that I have not been able to find that they have been looking for. They've been looking for volatile organic chemicals, which encompass a large, broad spectrum of chemicals. And the devices that they're looking for them with are called, photoionization devices. However, stuff like phosgene takes a special photoionization.
So they're not. So in essence, the guy's basically saying that they're not utilizing all the tools necessary to test for different chemicals. They're only using the necessary tools to test certain chemicals. That's basically what the guy's saying. So he's concerned that they're not doing a good job at deciphering what is actually in the air versus what is not out there.
Or it takes a special meter. We're also not talking about dioxins. We're not talking about some of the other byproducts that were put into the cloud. And my concern was, very quickly, relatively quickly after this stuff all burned off, they started bringing people back home, and they kind of put out.
They started bringing people back home, dude. This shit's crazy.
A notice that said, if you feel like you want to have your house checked, call this number, and Norfolk Southern will send someone there to check.
The government, when you call them and you say, hey, there's been a chemical spill, they're burning this shit into the air. Who do we call to inspect our homes? Let me call the railway company and have them come test my house. The fuck's wrong with you guys? The same company causing the chemical spills is the company that's being called to go to people's crib. To go to people's crib. Guys, I know my Instagram's down. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Do not worry. A resident scoops up dead fish and frogs 4 miles from the train derailment. A single dip of my net, I collected nearly 24 dead or nearly dead animals. This is just not normal. Very interesting. So the whole point, guys, is be extremely careful with, if you live in the Northeast, I don't know if you do, I would only be drinking bottled spring water. If you live in Ohio, you live in Pennsylvania, I'd leave. Like, I know it sounds like shit, but I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be there. Comment. There are 75,000. Remember when we talked about the Amish and the organic farms, guys? There are 75,000 farms in Ohio. Nearly 90% of those farms are run by families and individuals. It is ironic that this awful environmental disaster happened there. Coincidentally, there's a global war on small holdings farms to sell or go bust via legislation and economics. Have you seen what's taking place in the Netherlands with the farmers? There's a war against the farm companies. But anyways, let me show you guys something here. Let's go to this person. So there's a chemical spill happening that should be extremely concerning, right? Extremely concerning. And the best we get from How Dare You is a retweet, right? So we get a retweet. That's the best that we get when this is probably one of the biggest climate hazards that's taken place in the recent years. But then you get the promo of the book. Then you get the promo of the book after the retweet to make sure your bases are covered, but you don't actually give a fuck. You don't actually give a fuck because it's not part of the agenda. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to be out here hating on a little kid, but yeah, just very interesting. Here we have the actual rivers. So right here is where the chemical spill took place. Look at the river connections, guys. This shit's nuts. This shit's crazy. So if this seeps into the water supply, you're talking about water that takes care of 8% of the United States, 9%. It's a big deal. People are not making it a big deal because they're not fucking affected by it. But this shit is not a joke. And I'm not popular when I say these things, but damn, I'm right, dude. And I told you guys, you have to be able to uncover. You have to be able to uncover intentions, right? So you have the Norfolk Southern Company, which operates the railway system, okay? And their reparation for the entire town, for this disaster to all the people in East Palestine is $25,000 donation to help evacuate people, when they just spent $10 billion in stock buybacks last year, over the last 6 months or so, or they committed to it. $10 billion in stock buybacks, and here you have them giving a $25,000 donation for creating what could be potentially a crippling effect for the United States. Like, you guys think it's a joke? It ain't a fucking joke. Look at this thing, dude. This is not, you guys need to understand, this is not a cloud. This is not smoke. This is not you burning leaves on the ground. You're talking about something that is designed for chemical warfare. This shit is not a joke. Let alone understanding that every property there is worth zero. Shit's basically worth nothing. It's garbage. Okay? All the houses, the real estate, the land, gone. Gone. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 40 minutes in. I'm going to continue. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And let's get into part 2 here. Hit the like button. It always helps the algo or whatever it is that these social media platforms do. You guys know I'm not super big into all of this. So anyways, here we have the Kane Koa thread. If you haven't read it already, it's extremely important. So what are the discoveries that we've made? The discoveries that have been made is that there is World War level chemical warfare biohazards, right? It's fucking crazy, dude. I can't believe the fact that there's literally a movie about this thing, dude. Like, this shit just fucks with my head. Because it just can't be coincidence. It just, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. So if somebody can explain the logic behind that, I'd be extremely grateful. But anyways, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen, for East Palestine. So I would not be very much worried with UFOs and all that bullshit. I'd be worried with this. This shit's crazy. Train derailments are common, ladies and gentlemen. They're common. But how this thing was managed and the fact that the USA has not said anything about it is extremely concerning. So reports, can we make a report? Can we see if there's anywhere to report stuff? Learn about the conditions where you live? Okay. Let's look at the East Palestine zip code. See if there's anything reported. Okay, so 44413 zip code, East Palestine. I'm assuming that's the one. I couldn't tell you guys. But let's see what the conditions are of this place. Let's see if the Environmental Protection Agency has updated this. Oh, sick! No update whatsoever from the government. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. No updates from the government. Interesting. So here you go. Here's your government that you pay trillions of dollars to, asking them to give you real-time information regarding the air quality of East Palestine, Ohio, and they can't. And they can't. And they won't. So there you go. There you have your air quality, ladies and gentlemen, from 2015 from East Palestine. The United States says that East Palestine is A-okay, nothing to worry about. The same companies that run your media are the same companies, right, that own. That's crazy. Norfolk Southern. You can call this a coincidence. You can call this a joke. But it's there. It means something. It means something. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. Hope you guys gained some information. Let's look at their stock. Hang on, let me open up their stock. Maybe we can look at the technicals of their stock. The thing is, I know that they've had buybacks recently, and the issue with buybacks is that they tend to keep the stock price up